Hello, everybody. It is great to be here one more time today. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm the CEO, president, and founder of GSD. Yes, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also the co-founder and CEO of Viva, YVA.ai, which is acquired by Vizier in Canada. We believe that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And with that, I got an incredible guest today. So we're going to talk to Keith Ferry from Cerebrum Sensor. Keith is a serial entrepreneur. He's got some incredible technology. He's got a wide background, everything from Dennison to Cerebrum. So with that, I'd like to bring him on board. Hi, Keith. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Gary. How are you?
Fantastic. So I got a question. Now, how do you go from doing, you started out, you've done real estate, you've worked for Dennison. How in the world did you come to Cerebrum Sensor?
Yeah, well, it certainly wasn't two steps. There's a lot in between. So I've definitely been an automotive enthusiast since I can remember, whether before driving vehicles or when I got my first car in high school and customizing that, and just always been interested in machines and automotive. So I knew that was a career I wanted to get into. So went to school for engineering, mechanical engineering with automotive focus, also some aerospace. And right out of college, didn't necessarily get into the career that was automotive focused. I worked for Avery Dennison, but I learned a lot there as far as manufacturing and processes and lean, Six Sigma design, all the good stuff that goes into operating a business, especially one in the automotive field. And so learned a lot of information and skill set from that, as well as leadership. It was a leadership development program. So that was great, but also still had that kind of burning itch to get involved in automotive. And my friend and still business partner, Jason, we grew up together. We lived in California together at the time and had met up, and he indicated he had an idea for automotive customization product, which was tire stickers. And that kind of kicked off our first venture in the field. And that evolved over time from just putting labels on tires to putting things that don't generally belong on a tire, like LEDs or cameras, and in this case, a sensor, which led ultimately to Cerebrum and opened up a massive opportunity, not only for us, but for the entire automotive community.
Now, what about tire stickers? Is tire stickers still in business?
Yeah, it's still a very profitable operating business. We essentially own the technology. One of the things I kind of learned through the experience with Avery Dennison and in general was protection, creation of IP and innovation, and really just kind of getting that branding out there, being recognized as the number one brand, the leader, the high quality, best product in the market, and protecting that branding both from a trademark and patent standpoint. And so we focused heavily on investing in that long ago, and that is benefiting us in Cerebrum as well. But any type of relationship with major tire companies, Goodyear, Michelin, Bridgestone, kind of all those big companies that are in the space, we've been working with them from the beginning and building up the quality of the product. And they still buy that product directly from us for racing purposes, if they want to put their name on the tire for marketing. But then also on the consumer side and at a global level, we're selling that product through over 60 countries right now. So it still has its place in the market. Definitely more niche and kind of geared towards the enthusiast or somebody who's looking to personalize the vehicle in a unique way. Not necessarily something for every single vehicle on the road, which is where Cerebrum is more applicable.
And so when you went down through I remember somebody telling me sometimes people will steal tires, right? And is that true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I would say a little bit less of a concern in the U.S., although it does happen if you're in the wrong neighborhood. You come back and your wheels and tires are gone. But In general, internationally, it's a big concern. Tires are expensive, no matter where you go in the world. The price is the same, and sometimes more because of import costs and things like that. So people are always looking to save costs, reduce costs, and tires is a big expense, especially for fleets. And so what happens is maybe the fleet will throw on some new tires into one of their trucks, and the driver says, "Hey, I can make a buck here by going to the local shop and having them throw on some old tires, and then they can sell the new tires and make the difference." So that does happen. And unfortunately with tires, because of how difficult they are to bond to and track, there have been no solutions for managing that loss, that shrink that happens. And it is a big concern. So that was some of the original inspiration around Cerebrum that we did on the tire stickers business. And what we did was created a RFID tag, much like what you see in retail. If you try to walk out of the store without paying, um, oftentimes something will go off. And so I learned that as well from Avery Dennison, that shrinkage and theft is a big problem in the retail space. And RFID started to get popular there in 2008, 2009 timeframe when I was at Avery Dennison, and they led the charge there. But nothing cascaded down to the tires, namely because bonding to a tire is so difficult. And that's what our patents and our technology does. And so we started to incorporate those either barcodes or RFID type technology into labels that go onto tires, and that helps prevent theft as one use case, as well as identify tires for maybe inventory management of tires. If they're in a warehouse, how many tires are on a pallet, what's the identification of those tires, and at the OEM level, being able to trace a tire possibly from cradle to grave. Once the tire manufacturer makes it and they ship it out, they have no idea where it goes, right? So if there's a recall, like how do you find that tire? So this is a way that also enables tracking those tires throughout the use of its life.
What about like rental cars? Do people switch rental car tires too?
Yeah, they do, and that does happen in the U.S. We work with several rental type either car or fleet type vehicle companies, and again, theft is an issue. Also, just in general, the usage of the tires, and
take the tires off and put another old tire on, and
Yeah, I mean the difference between if you got a decent quality tire, high end brand tire, and one of the cheapest tires you can find. I mean, there's a couple $100 in that per tire. So you got 4 tires, and so there could be a real benefit. And again, internationally, where there's a dollar or just currency discrepancy as well, that's a meaningful contribution. So theft is a concern. And again, for the fleet, unless somebody's checking it at the inspection time, they're not necessarily going to catch that. And a lot of fleets in the rental business, at least, that's not necessarily one of their points of inspection is checking that the tires are the same as what they sent out.
Interesting. And so, so you got that. Now, how did you migrate to Cerebrum? What happened?
Yeah, so we started in early 2010 decade with RFID and asset tracking, that type of technology, and again knew that was a big opportunity in the automotive space. Certainly a little more tier 1 level or higher level manufacturer importance, whereas we knew that there were other downstream benefits that could be derived from the tire. So what else could we really put onto the tire that could provide benefit? And that was when we looked at kind of the decade, if you will, 2010 to 2020. There were some significant improvements to automotive vehicles in terms of tech. Backup cameras became a mandate, I think, in 2014 timeframe. All of the different gadgets, AirPlay and LiDAR and, turn signal or lane assist, even autonomous driving. So all these things just started advancing in terms of technology. And we're just sitting there saying, hey, we're experts in the tire field. Why are the tires not involved in this? The tires are arguably the most important part of the vehicle for safety, performance. All of those things tie back to the tires. So if the tires, you're getting no information from those tires, you don't know how they're performing, what the condition is, even if it's the same one that you thought was on there, all those different things were a gap. And so we said, well, we have the ability to bond to a tire. We have a very strong understanding of how tires perform, what they go through, deflection and stress and temperature and contaminants and all those different things. And so we saw an opportunity to implement a type of technology that could provide the insights that the industry was looking for, that could contribute to safety, to sustainability, even autonomous driving, which depends entirely on sensors. All those different things really hit the type of technology we created with Cerebrum. So we partook in that journey several years before we started the company, but we started the company in 2019. And since then, it's been an incredible journey. And we're very excited about the future and the changes that are coming.
No, it's great. And so what about like tread separate? You know, sometimes you get the tires separate. I had that happen to me twice with tires on nice cars too, Lexuses and a nice Nissan 370. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you tell with your with Cerebrum whether or not it's separating?
Yeah, so what Cerebrum is, just at a high level, it's basically a quarter-sized sensor. I've got one right here that bonds to the tire itself. And so
inside the tire?
Yeah, so it actually goes on the inner liner, basically opposite of the tread. And from that position, we can gather basically all of the properties or the conditions of the tire as it's operating. We have some sensors on board, some temperature, pressure, accelerometer, various sensors on board. Those communicate wirelessly. We use Bluetooth, but there's also RF and other wireless technologies. But we transmit that data to a receiver. It could be your phone, it could be the car, and then we process that through advanced algorithms, AI and machine learning based algorithms to derive meaningful analytics. So that could be a tread alert, like what you mentioned. It could be a separation. It could be a blowout warning, even detecting potholes on the road. All of that's within the scope of the technology that we've created. So we have kind of broken the mold in our product. We are replacing the TPMS industry. If you're not familiar with TPMS, it's a little light that pops up when your pressure is low on your tank. But really, pressure is only one element of the condition of the tire. And so we're looking to bring more things. Tread is our defining flagship feature. We can actually measure the accuracy to a millimeter of how much tire you have left. How many 30 seconds you have, and when it's time to change your tire. But that's just kind of scratching the surface. To your point, there's blowout alerts, there's tread separation, tire condition in general, road surface monitoring.
I didn't know it was going to happen until it happened. I was driving down the tire. Right. Yep. All of a sudden, my rear tire gets, comes up.
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I actually had the same experience, and thankfully, although it wasn't the tread, it was actually a suspension-related issue. But I had Cerebrum in the tires. It was an older vehicle, pre-TPMS even, and I was driving about 80 miles per hour, coming back from a show in Vegas where we were actually exhibiting, and my right front tire, the suspension was starting to give out, so I got an alert. It was a irregular vibration detection and temperature elevation. So I started slowing down, and as I went down from 80 down to about 60 or 55, the suspension snapped. Tire went 90 degrees.
So snapped in your car?
Yeah, the lower ball joint snapped off. So,
oh my God, that's unbelievable. What kind of car was that, Keith?
Honda Accord. I mean, good car, but the issue is that I'm from Massachusetts, and it's a Northeast car, and one thing about the roads up there is you get a lot of rust and salt, and that destroys the underside of those vehicles. So, older vehicle, it's seen a lot of winters, and apparently with that particular vehicle, the lower suspension joint is an issue. But I was able to catch it. I wasn't going 80 miles per hour when that happened. I was going a more comfortable 50 miles per hour, and shortly after, I got pressure alerts because the tire went flat, and I was able to safely pull over and not end up in a ditch. So I'd like to think that the product potentially saved my life as well. So it can do that with many other people. The leading cause of accidents, vehicle related accidents, is tire. whether that be tire wear or just other tire damage. So it's an incredible opportunity to improve safety in the industry. So first and foremost, that's one of the main benefits to the consumer, but there's a lot more.
Now, how do you tell tire wear? How do you know whether the tire's wearing from the
well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. That's a secret. But no, it's
nobody's listening. It's okay.
Yeah. So basically, the tire, as it's rolling, has a certain profile, and that tire profile changes as the tire wears. There's other factors, if you have a lot of weight on the tire or something else is going on. There's other parameters to consider, but what we're doing is we're essentially measuring the change in the profile or the rotation of that tire. So as it wears, it has a different behavior, and we can detect that down to a millimeter. So it's kind of leveraging what you'd consider to be relatively known tire dynamics and physics. There's publications back to probably the 60s on this type of stuff, but taking that from a physics concept or mathematical concept and deploying that into real world on any tire, scaling it across all vehicles, all road conditions, that's where the magic is, and that's what we've been able to develop based on our experience.
No, that's fantastic. So what's the future hold?
The future is very bright. Like I said, we're aiming to ultimately add more insights to the vehicles and to consumers. So TPMS is just the start. It's kind of like analog to digital conversion that I think is going to take place, where we're moving away from just basic pressure alerts. And some countries are still, catching up to getting TPMS and or pressure alerts. And so there's a lot of global opportunity, and our technology is IoT based. And so it can connect basically anywhere to any receiver. So it's got global impact and potential. But really, like we're rolling this out to any vehicle tire, on-road, off-road, passenger vehicle, heavy-duty trucks. A lot of opportunity. So there's safety aspects, as I already pointed out. Another sustainability concern here, which I think is relatively unrecognized, is that tires wear, and that wear goes somewhere. That's particulate, that's pollution. That is going somewhere, right? It's going into the air. It's going into waterways as it's being washed off the roads. And that's a metric that has gone relatively unnoticed or assessed. Up until about a year or two ago, there's been some companies that we're working with also that measure that particulate. And what they found is that it actually exceeds the tailpipe waste or emission standard by 8 times. So we're actually causing more pollution from tire wear than from tailpipes. And so all this push about let's get EVs on the road, and we're missing opportunity. And the reality is that EVs, electric vehicles, wear tires 30% faster. So we've actually replaced, the tailpipe component, but now we're wearing particulate off the tires faster, causing more pollution. And so there's kind of an impact here that needs to be understood. And what our technology does is it allows us to assess that. It allows us to say, hey, you're driving that vehicle improperly, it's causing more wear, or you're consuming more fuel because the efficiency of your tires is lower because your pressure or your alignment is off, or you're too overloaded. All of those different things tie back to that safety and sustainability piece. So really global impact and really benefits throughout the supply chain. Municipalities can know when they have potholes that are damaging cars, and they can deploy people to go fix that. AI or autonomous vehicles know that their tires are worn and they don't have the same stopping distance anymore. Right now, they don't know that. They don't know that they can't stop.
That's a really good point too, right? And the other thing is, if it's raining a bit and you've got worn tires, the stopping distance dramatically changes, right? Because
correct.
Forget about it. So now it's great. So we're coming up to the last few minutes of the show. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, appreciate the opportunity, Gary. We've got a lot going on. This is really a long-term business opportunity that we're deploying, and we're going to see some major changes in the industry. So appreciate the opportunity to share that vision. And again, Keith Ferry with Cerebrum Sensor Technologies. Our website's cerebrumsensor.com. My email is keith@cerebrumsensor.com. And look forward to any questions or business opportunities.
Sounds great. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And thanks to all my listeners for joining one more time. GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. And my name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back to you again next Tuesday for another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.